The message from deep space. The year was 2137. Earth had changed. Flying cars, giant sky cities, and AI robots were everywhere. But one thing had never changed: fear of the unknown. Then, one day, something strange happened. A signal came from deep space. It was not a normal radio wave. It was strong, powerful, and repeated only one word: choose. Scientists across the world were confused. Satellites confirmed the signal was real. It came from a galaxy 3 million light-years away. No one had ever seen anything like it. The United World Council held a secret meeting. Top scientists, military leaders, and diplomats sat in a room, watching the strange signal repeat on screen. Choose, choose, choose. What does it mean? Someone asked. Is it a warning? Is it a test? The council sent messages back, asking for more information. For 5 days, nothing happened. Then, suddenly, a black portal opened in Earth's orbit. A voice came from the signal, clear and cold. One human must enter. One human must answer. Choose, or Earth will be ignored. The council panicked. They needed someone brave, someone who had nothing to lose, someone who could survive the unknown. That man was Commander Ryan Cross. He was a former space soldier, strong, quiet, and fearless. He had fought in the Mars Wars and lost his family to alien raiders. He lived alone. No wife, no kids. No reason to say no. I'll go, he said simply. On the day of departure, Ryan wore a black suit with oxygen boosters and a neural chip. He walked alone into the space shuttle that would take him to the portal. Reporters watched from screens. The world held its breath. As his ship approached the portal, the signal grew louder in his earpiece. Choose, choose. The moment his ship entered the black circle, everything turned white. When Ryan opened his eyes, he was no longer in his ship. He was standing on a glowing platform inside a giant alien spaceship. The walls were tall and shining like silver. Strange symbols floated in the air. The air smelled like flowers and fire. He reached for his weapon, but it was gone. Then he heard footsteps. Heavy, slow, powerful. From the shadows came a tall figure. Her skin was dark purple. Her hair flowed like liquid metal. Her eyes glowed gold. And she was huge, almost 8 feet tall. Strong, graceful, and terrifying. Her voice was deep but soft. You are human, she said. I am Zara, guardian of the Virelians. My people are dying. We searched the stars. Your planet answered. Ryan said nothing. He studied her calmly. You were chosen, Zara said. Why me? He asked. She looked at him closely, as if reading his soul. Because you carry pain. Because you carry strength. And because you have nothing to lose. Ryan frowned. What do you want from me? Zara stepped forward. Her body was tall, athletic, and glowing with energy. Our people can only survive through unity. We must bond with another race. A union. A joining. A mate. Ryan's eyes narrowed. You want me to mate with you? Zara did not blink. Yes, but only if you pass the trials. Ryan laughed, cold and sharp. This is a joke. Zara looked serious. No joke. This is life or death. For me. For my kind. And maybe for you. Suddenly the ship shook. A deep sound echoed through the walls. The portal is closing, she said. You must decide now. Go back to your Earth or take the trials. Ryan stared at the closing light behind him. He thought of Earth, the corruption, the wars, the loneliness. Then he looked at Zara, alien, yes, but honest. And maybe the only purpose he had left. He took a deep breath. I'll stay. Zara nodded slowly. Then your trials begin at dawn. As she walked away, Ryan whispered to himself, guess I've just agreed to date an 8-foot alien woman. When Ryan Cross opened his eyes the next morning, he was no longer in the glowing hallway. He was standing in the middle of a stone arena, large, circular, and silent. Above him, thousands of alien eyes watched from crystal balconies. They were tall, thin, silver-skinned Virelians, all staring at one thing, him. A loud voice echoed from the sky. The human has accepted the call. The trials shall begin. Zara stood at the far end of the arena. She wore silver armor that shimmered like ice. She spoke without emotion. 3 trials: strength, spirit, and sacrifice. If you fail, you die. If you succeed, you may stand by me. Ryan clenched his fists. Bring it on. Trial 1. Strength. A gate opened behind him. From the shadows stepped a metal beast, 6 legs, red glowing eyes, long razor-sharp tail. It looked like a mix of a lion and a machine. Ryan looked around. No weapons, just sand, rocks, and his own body. The beast roared and charged. Ryan rolled aside, barely dodging the claws. He grabbed a broken stone and threw it at the creature's eye. It stumbled. He ran forward, jumped on its back, and began smashing the circuits on its head with his fists. Sparks flew. The creature roared in pain, tossing him off. Blood ran from Ryan's arm, but he didn't stop. As the creature lunged again, Ryan grabbed its tail, twisted it, and jammed it into the creature's own neck. The metal beast froze, shook, and collapsed. The arena went silent. Then a single clap. Zara. Trial 2. Spirit. Now Ryan stood in a dark room. No enemies. No weapons. Just a mirror in front of him. Suddenly the mirror shimmered, and from it stepped himself. Same face, same voice, but the reflection smiled with hate. You're weak, the copy said. You let your wife die. You ran from Earth. You're just a broken man pretending to be brave. Ryan didn't move. He stared at the reflection. His fists were tight, but he didn't attack. The copy stepped closer. Why do you even want to live? Ryan finally spoke. His voice was quiet, but steady. Because maybe this time I can protect someone. Maybe I still matter. The mirror shattered. Trial 2 was over. Trial 3. Sacrifice. Now Ryan stood at the edge of a cliff. A storm raged below. Lightning flashed in a green sky. A Varillian child stood beside him, small, shaking, afraid. Zara's voice came through the wind. This child carries the blood of our future. But the bridge is broken. Only one can cross. If you carry her, you will fall. Ryan looked at the child. Her eyes were wide with fear. Her small hand reached for his. No hesitation. He picked her up, held her close, and stepped onto the broken path. The bridge cracked under his feet. Wind howled. Below, an endless fall waited to take him. Halfway across, the last stone gave way. Ryan threw the child forward with all his strength. She landed safely. He did not. Ryan fell. But just before he hit the ground, something caught him. A beam of golden light wrapped around his body and pulled him back up. Zara stood at the edge, hand raised, her face unreadable. You passed, she said softly. Later that night, Ryan sat alone in a small chamber. His body ached. His arm was bleeding again. He had passed the trials, but at a cost. Zara entered. You surprised many today, she said. Especially me. Ryan gave a tired smile. I'm full of surprises. She sat across from him. You don't act like the others. What others? Others we tested before. Warriors from different planets. Most failed. Some laughed. One tried to kill me. She paused. You gave everything, and you didn't ask for anything in return. Ryan looked at her seriously. That's because I know what it's like to lose everything. They sat in silence for a moment. The air between them felt heavier. Not in a bad way, in a real way. Zara stood. Rest now. Tomorrow we talk about the bond. As she walked away, Ryan whispered to himself, whatever this is, I think I'm already in too deep. The red moon hung heavy in the alien sky, casting a strange glow over the jungle trees that whispered with a language not yet known to man. Ryan moved slowly through the thick purple vines, his breath uneven, his arm still bleeding from the trial. Behind him, Zara walked in silence, her golden eyes scanning the shadows. They were no longer in the arena, no longer in the safety of the Varillian capital. They were fugitives now, After Ryan passed the trials, the High Council did not celebrate. Instead, they argued. Half believed he was a threat. The other half called him a miracle. But when one council elder demanded his elimination, Zara acted. She broke the rules, pulled Ryan from his chamber, knocked out the guards, and led him through a secret tunnel into the wild. Now they were running, and Ryan still didn't know why. He stopped near a glowing stream. Alien fireflies hovered above the water, lighting the scene like tiny blue stars. He turned to Zara. "You want to tell me what's going on now?" he asked. Zara didn't look at him. "They were going to kill you, even after the trials. I figured that out when I woke up without my boots and 2 guards holding knives," he muttered. "They fear change," Zara said quietly. "They fear a human becoming part of our bloodline. You were never supposed to pass. The trials were designed to make you fail." Ryan stared at her. "And you still let me take them?" She finally looked at him. "I needed to know. I needed to see who you really were." "And?" he asked. Zara took a step closer. "You didn't disappoint me." Ryan was about to reply when a strange sound echoed from the trees. A soft clicking, followed by a low hiss. Zara raised her hand. "Don't move." 2 seconds later, a creature dropped from the tree. 6 legs, no eyes, mouth full of needles. It lunged at Ryan. Zara was faster. Her arm shot out like lightning, grabbing the creature midair and slamming it to the ground. One sharp twist and the thing stopped moving. "You're full of surprises too," Ryan said, raising an eyebrow. "I trained since birth to kill monsters," she said. "You punch metal lions. We make a good pair." He laughed, short and low. "Are we going to keep running?" "No," Zara said. "I have one last place to take you." They traveled deeper into the jungle. The land turned misty. Strange glowing plants lined the path, and the stars above were so close, it felt like you could touch them. Finally, they reached it. A massive stone structure stood in a clearing. Half temple, half ruin, it pulsed with ancient energy. The doors opened by themselves as they approached. Inside was quiet, sacred. "This is where my ancestors bonded," Zara said. "Thousands of years ago, we were not one people. We were tribes. Then 2 leaders, enemies, fell in love. They bonded, and our race became one." She walked to a stone platform in the center. "If a Virelian bonds with someone truly outside our kind, this is where it must happen." Ryan frowned. "You brought me here to bond with you?" "No," she said, stepping back. "I brought you here so you could decide." The silence grew thick. "I don't even know what bonding means," he said. Zara looked away. "It means you give yourself completely. No secrets, no fear. Your mind links to mine. Your life becomes part of our future. You'll change, Ryan. Maybe not all at once. But your blood, your soul. It will never be just human again." He stepped forward, slowly. "I lost everything back on Earth. I thought I was just surviving. But since I got here, something's different. I feel awake." Zara met his eyes. "Then say it." He didn't blink. "I want this." Before either could move, a sudden noise shattered the moment. A red beam blasted through the temple wall. A high-pitched alarm rang across the jungle. Outside, ships appeared in the sky. Sleek, black, armed. Zara's face turned cold. "They've found us." "Your people?" Ryan asked, ready to run. She shook her head. "Worse." More ships arrived. The ground shook. Trees exploded in fire. From the clouds descended shadowy figures, not Virelians. Not human. Something else. Claws. Armor. Eyes like burning coal. Ryan pulled Zara close. "Looks like we're not done running." She looked up at him and whispered, "No. Now we fight." And as they stood back to back under the red moon, surrounded by a new threat, Ryan realized something deep in his bones. This wasn't just survival anymore. This was war. The sky burned red. Ships roared above the jungle, cutting through clouds like blades. Fire rained from the trees as dark figures dropped from the sky. Creatures built for war. Armor fused with bone. Weapons grafted into their arms. eyes glowing like dying stars. Ryan didn't blink. His instincts took over. He grabbed a fallen metal shard from the temple ruins and spun toward Zara. "How many?" he asked. She looked up at the sky. "Too many." They ran. Through shattered vines, over broken stones, under glowing trees now burning with fire. Ryan's lungs ached, but he didn't stop. He could hear the enemy behind them, fast, hungry, organized. Zara led him toward a narrow cave hidden beneath a waterfall. She slammed her hand on a stone panel, and the rock wall split open. Inside, the world changed. A blue light lit the cave, clean and quiet. Walls glowed with ancient symbols, and floating orbs followed them as they stepped inside. "This is the Forgotten Core," Zara said. "It was once a war room during our civil age." Ryan turned. "And now it's a tomb," she said. "Unless we change that." Ryan sat beside a glowing console while Zara activated the defense map. Holograms floated around them, the enemy fleet, troop paths, heat signals. The invaders were not just looking for them. They were attacking every major Verilian city. "They're called the Krell," Zara said. "We pushed them back 100 years ago. Now they return, and they fear what we might become if you and I bond. They think we're a threat. To them, we are." Ryan looked at her. "Your people. Do they know what's happening?" "Some do. Some are already dead." Silence fell between them. Then Ryan asked the one question Zara had been avoiding. "Why didn't you stop me from falling for you?" She met his eyes. "Because I fell too." For the first time, Zara reached out. Not as a leader, not as a warrior, but as someone who was tired of pretending to feel nothing. She touched Ryan's chest gently, where his human heart beat too fast. "I don't want to fight this war without you," she said. Ryan took her hand. "Then let's end it together." But nothing stays quiet for long. The cave wall exploded inward. 3 Krell soldiers stormed through, their claw weapons charged with burning plasma. Ryan and Zara rolled apart. He moved like a shadow, sliding under one strike and jamming his blade shard into the creature's lower jaw. It screamed, but before it could fall, Zara leapt onto the second attacker, snapping its arm and twisting its neck in one motion. The third Krell fired, a direct hit toward Ryan's chest. Zara moved without thinking. She stepped in front of him. The blast hit her full in the back. She fell. Time slowed. Ryan dropped to his knees, catching her before she hit the ground. Smoke rose from her back. The armor burned through. Her breath was shallow, but she was alive. Barely. No, stay with me," he said. "Don't you dare close your eyes." Zara looked up weakly. "The core has healing tech behind the wall." Ryan didn't waste a second. He dragged her toward the back chamber and slammed his fist on the panel. A soft hiss followed, and robotic arms surrounded her, lifting her onto a glowing bed. Blue light wrapped around her wounds, pulsing slow and steady. Machines whispered in an alien tongue, reading her DNA, rewriting cells. He stood there watching, helpless. For the first time since he left Earth, Ryan felt true fear. Not fear of death. Fear of losing her. Hours passed. Maybe more. The storm outside grew worse. Explosions echoed across the jungle. The war had truly begun. And then she moved. Her eyes opened slowly, still weak but alive. "You stayed," she said. He laughed once, dry and tired. "Of course I did." She sat up slowly, looking at him. "Then there's no time left." "What do you mean?" Zara reached for the console beside her and opened a panel Ryan hadn't seen before. Inside it, 2 crystal blades rested, pulsing with gold and violet light. "This is the bond ceremony," she said. "If we do this, the transformation begins. You won't be human anymore." Not fully. Ryan stood silently, watching the blades glow between them. Zara took one and held it out. "You still have a choice." Ryan took a breath, then stepped forward and grabbed the other blade. "No more running," he said. "Let's finish what we started." And as their blades crossed and the chamber filled with energy, something ancient awoke deep beneath the planet. A light not seen for centuries. Above them, the stars shifted. And the war had just changed sides. The world felt different. Ryan could feel it in his bones, like his blood was humming a new song, one not written by Earth. He stood in the center of the bond chamber, breathing hard, the crystal blade still hot in his hand. Across from him, Zara's eyes glowed brighter than before. The bond was complete, but something inside him was changing. His heart still beat like a man's, but slower, stronger. His skin burned slightly, not from heat but from energy, a quiet fire building under the surface. He could hear things now, faint whispers from the walls, from the ground. He looked at his hands. Faint lines of gold moved under his skin like lightning trapped beneath glass. "Is this normal?" he asked, voice steady but low. Zara approached. "No," she said. "It's more than normal. It's rare." She touched his shoulder gently. "You didn't just bond. You adapted." "What does that mean?" "It means the bloodline accepted you fully. You're not just part of us now. You're something new." Ryan blinked. "Okay, so what now?" Before Zara could answer, a massive tremor shook the chamber. The ground groaned. The lights above flickered. An urgent voice came through Zara's wrist communicator. "The Krell have reached the southern wall. Our forces are falling back. We need command. We need you." Zara met Ryan's eyes. "No more hiding," she said. "Good," he replied. "I've had enough waiting." They emerged from the jungle like shadows in firelight. The Verilian city lay ahead, once bright, now burning. Towers collapsed. Roads cracked. Bodies of defenders lay scattered in pools of alien blood. The Krell had brought war and they brought it fast. Zara raised her blade. "We head to the central core. If they reach it, the entire planet goes dark." Ryan didn't wait. He moved forward with new speed, faster than human, sharper than soldier. Something in the bond had unlocked his instincts. He didn't think, he reacted. A Krell charged toward them, spitting plasma from its cannon arm. Ryan dodged it, spun behind the creature, and drove his glowing blade through its spine. The body hit the ground without a sound. 3 more came. Ryan didn't stop moving. Zara fought beside him, fierce, perfect, deadly. For the first time, they moved as one. Each step matched, each strike mirrored. It wasn't just teamwork. It was connection. Inside the central core tower, surviving commanders gathered in panic. Verilian soldiers argued over retreat paths, yelling through broken communication links. The power grid flickered. Then Zara entered. The room fell silent. Behind her stood Ryan, his body now radiating faint golden light, armor cracked but eyes sharp. "He bonded?" one elder whispered in disbelief. "Fully," Zara said. Another shouted, "He's not Verilian. We cannot trust." "He bled for us," Zara snapped. "He fought. He chose us. And right now, he's the only one who can turn the tide." Ryan stepped forward. "What do you need?" The generals hesitated, then slowly pointed to the war map. The Krell ship, the main hive, sits above the northern ridge. It's cloaked, protected by a shield. No weapon we have can pierce it. Ryan studied the map. "You're wrong. You do have a weapon." They all looked at him. He tapped his chest. "Me." That night, the stars watched quietly as Ryan stood at the edge of the ridge, Zara beside him. The wind howled. The Krell hive ship loomed above like a sleeping god, dark, massive, terrifying. "Are you ready for this?" Zara asked. "No," Ryan said honestly. "But I'm going anyway." Zara smiled. "That's why you were chosen." She kissed his forehead. Not a goodbye, but a promise. Then he jumped. With the help of the bond, Ryan soared through the air like a falling comet. His body glowed brighter as he descended. The shield recognized him as both human and something else. Flickered, confused, then cracked. He hit the ship like a lightning strike. Explosions tore through its core. Krell soldiers screamed inside. Ryan moved like fury itself, carving a path through metal and monsters. The deeper he went, the hotter the bond burned inside him. His vision blurred. His hands were no longer just hands. They pulsed with energy, raw and untamed. At the heart of the ship he saw it, the Krell Queen. Tall, thin, a thing of bone and wires. Her voice echoed without sound. You are not one of them, not one of us. You are a mistake. Ryan grinned through blood and fire. Maybe, but I'm your last one, he charged. From the ground, Zara watched the sky erupt in fire. The ship exploded above the ridge, falling in pieces like burning snow. Her soldiers screamed with joy. The Krell scattered in panic. Retreat signals lit the sky, but Zara didn't smile. She stared into the smoke, waiting, hoping, and then a figure emerged, burned, limping, bleeding but alive. Ryan. She ran to him, threw her arms around him without a word. He whispered in her ear, barely standing. Guess the bond works. Zara held him tighter. You don't even know what you've started. He smiled weakly. Then let's finish it together. The dreams had changed. Ryan stood alone in an endless black field. No stars, no ground, just darkness that breathed. Around him voices whispered. Not in English, not in Varillian, but in something older, something that vibrated inside his bones. He didn't understand the words, but he felt their meaning. You are not the end. You are the bridge. He opened his mouth to speak, but his voice came out in echoes of light, gold, violet, and something in between. Then he woke up. The med-chamber was quiet. Silver walls pulsed softly as healing nanites drifted through the air. Ryan's body lay inside a containment pod, suspended in light. For 3 days he hadn't moved. Zara never left his side. She stood now with her hand on the glass, watching his face. His body was no longer fully human, not fully Varillian either. The bond had pushed something inside him forward, something even the Varillians hadn't predicted. His eyes flickered gold even in sleep. His veins shimmered beneath his skin. His DNA, scanned twice by the core, had rewritten itself. He was changing, and not slowly. On the 4th day, he opened his eyes. Zara, he said, his voice quieter than wind but sharper than metal. She stepped forward. I'm here. He sat up slowly, the chamber unlocking around him. The golden glow faded, but something deeper remained, something that didn't belong to any one species. I saw something, he said. Not a memory, a message, maybe a warning. Zara nodded slowly. You've awakened what we call the Veil Path. It connects the bonded to the ancient source, the mind beneath all things. Ryan stared at her. It wasn't just Varillian, was it? No, she whispered. It was older than us. Before species. Before time. He stood now, feet on the floor, breath steady. And it chose me. Outside the chamber, the world had changed again. The Krell had retreated, but not for long. Spies reported that a larger fleet was on its way, 10 times more than the last. But that wasn't the worst part. They weren't coming to conquer. They were coming to erase. The Krell had discovered Ryan's transformation, and what they feared most was not Zara's bond, but what Ryan was becoming. The council called for him. They met in a silver hall shaped like a spiral shell, a room that had only been opened twice in 1,000 years. Zara walked beside him as he entered, but Ryan noticed the looks. Half of them were awe, half were fear. He stood in the center, calm but commanding. You summoned me, he said. An elder stood. You carry something dangerous, human. You walk a path that even our ancestors feared to follow. I didn't ask for this, Ryan replied. No, Zara said. But you didn't run from it either. The council argued. Some begged him to lead the defense. Others whispered that he should be locked away, sealed beneath the core, that he was no longer safe, that he was becoming something unpredictable. Finally, Zara turned to them all and spoke the words no Varillian had dared to say aloud. He is no longer just a man. He is the convergence. That night, Ryan stood on the balcony of Zara's chamber, watching the stars. His hand trembled slightly, but not from fear, from pressure. The power inside him was growing. It came in pulses now, moments when he could hear thoughts not spoken aloud, feel energy moving through the air, even sense ships approaching from orbit before scanners picked them up. He looked at his reflection in the glass. He barely recognized the man staring back. Zara joined him. "You're changing faster now." "I know. Do you want it to stop?" He was quiet. "No," he finally said. "But I want to understand it." Zara turned his face toward her. "Then you'll need to go where no bonded has gone before." At dawn, they left the city and headed east, to the Spire of Origins, a forbidden place. Even Virelians feared it. The land around it was cracked, lifeless. Winds whispered secrets from dead stars. It was here long ago the first bond failed. Inside the spire, the air was heavy. The walls shimmered with memories not written. Echoes of other species, failed unions, abandoned hopes. And then Ryan saw it. A giant stone gate with 7 symbols. One of them now glowed, the same golden symbol that had appeared in his dream. He placed his hand on it. The gate opened. Inside, a single word waited on the wall, burned in every language that had ever existed. "Choose." Zara looked at him. "You don't have to go in," she said. "I already did," he replied. And as he stepped through the gate into a place not made of matter or time, Ryan Cross took his first step not as human, not as Virelian, but as something entirely new. Something both species would one day fear or follow. Somewhere beyond time, he heard her calling his name. Not with words, not with sound, just presence. In that timeless place beyond the gate, beyond the rules of gravity, thought, or blood, Ryan Cross floated in silence. Stars pulsed in the distance like heartbeats. Symbols shifted around him, glowing and fading as if watching him decide. Then a shape formed Zara's face, her voice, her soul. Not a memory, not a message. Connection. "Come back to me." And just like that, Ryan opened his eyes. He gasped awake, falling forward onto stone. The Spire of Origins trembled. Outside, the sky burned red. Zara stood at the entrance, battle-worn and wild-eyed. "You're back," she whispered. Ryan looked up. So are they. Above Virelia, the sky split open. The Krell Armada had arrived. Massive ships, each the size of a city, filled the clouds. Their energy readings broke every Virelian sensor. Where they flew, the clouds blackened. Below them, Krell ground forces stormed across the continent. Not to conquer, but to erase. Zara and Ryan returned to the capital. It was barely holding. The last shield dome flickered. Children were being evacuated. Soldiers barely held the lines. Ryan walked through the chaos, silent, calm. His body pulsed with energy. Every step sent small ripples through the ground. Wherever he walked, systems rebooted, wounds healed faster, weapons locked on target. Zara looked at him with a mix of pride and awe. "You're more than Virelian now." "I'm more than anything," Ryan said. "But I'm still me." In the council chamber, silence reigned. "He returned from the gate," one elder whispered. "No one ever has." Ryan stood before them, not demanding leadership, not asking for power, offering hope. "We don't need another weapon," he said. "We need a reason to fight. And it's not for a flag, not for blood. It's for each other." He looked at Zara. "It's for love." No one moved. Then the youngest counselor stood. Then another. Then all of them. Zara walked forward, took his hand, and nodded. Together they walked to war. The final battle began at dawn. Zara led the sky assault, riding an ancient Virelian war glider that shimmered with new life. Ryan led the ground, no ship, no shield. Just himself and the force inside him. Krell beasts charged toward the capital walls. Ryan raised his hand, and the earth answered. Pillars of golden light shot from the ground, tossing the enemy into the sky. Gravity shifted around him. Krell weapons failed as they neared. Their ships trembled as he passed under. It was like he'd become part of the planet itself. But the Krell weren't finished. Their queen, the true mind behind the invasion, descended from her hive ship in a cocoon of black flame. She landed in the city center, taller than a tower, her body covered in writhing armor and shadow. "You've poisoned the cycle," she said. "There can be no joining of kinds." Ryan stepped forward. "You're wrong. We already joined." He held Zara's hand. The queen roared and sent a wave of dark energy across the city. Buildings shattered. Towers collapsed. Ryan stood tall, and then he rose. His body left the ground. Golden light burst from his chest, flowing into the sky like a signal. Zara floated beside him, surrounded by violet flame. Their bond had reached its peak. One final time, they chose each other. Together they charged. The explosion was silent. The light swallowed everything, Krell, city, sky. For a moment there was only white. Then, stillness. When the light faded, the Krell ships were gone. Not destroyed, but retreated, pulled back into the void as if something older and more powerful had spoken through the bond and told them, "You are not welcome here." Virelia stood in silence. Then, slowly, cheers began. The war was over. Days passed. Ryan stood at the edge of the Capitol cliffs, looking out over the sea of stars. He could feel the galaxy now, not just see it. It whispered. He was no longer just human, but he wasn't a god either. He was a reminder that love wasn't weakness, that unity wasn't surrender. Zara stood beside him. "Ready for what's next?" she asked. He smiled. "Not even close," he said, "but I'm still going." And somewhere in deep space, another signal blinked awake. This time it didn't say choose. It said, "Remember."